What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and Karl Anthony Towns just got shipped to the New York Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is on his way to the Towns. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Looking into this deal, you can see here reported by Shams, we have the Knicks acquiring Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota for Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick via Detroit. And I honestly think that this is a weird move. I think both of these teams were in very unique situations, to say the least. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns was a bad player. I don't think Julius Randle was a bad player to the point where either of these guys should be looking, either of their teams should be looking to trade them. But I feel like because of just what their status has been on this team for a while, it would be good to have some change. And I was right about this trade. I predicted this trade 2 whole years ago. Verbatim, Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle. I just felt like what both of these teams needed was, these players are sort of kind of similar, but they differ in other areas, and a change of scenery for both of them would be pretty good. It's not the most mind-blowing trade. Like, I don't think either team is going to be a huge winner or a huge loser. I think they both got something that they needed, but also something that they kind of already had outside of Donte DiVincenzo. I'm going to start off talking about Donte DiVincenzo. I think he's actually the most important piece to this trade, and I'm going to tell you why. I feel like Julius Randle, at the end of the day, although he has some differences from Karl Anthony Towns, which I'll get into, he kind of isn't fully fixing the issue. Like I said, I feel like these two players are similar in a decent amount of ways. So bringing in Donte DiVincenzo, who is a guard, they needed another guard who could do something with the ball really, really bad. Donte DiVincenzo, he can score the ball. His shot creation is pretty good. He has sneaky athleticism. I don't think his playmaking is too shabby. You absolutely needed this, 100%. Rob Dillingham, the rookie, is a good pickup in the draft. But I think now that you have an NBA player that's been here, he's solidified, you know what he can do, and at the very, very least, he is going to hit open shots. You desperately need that. You did not have that last year, and it definitely made it a lot harder to get to the conference finals. But in the conference finals, you saw how that ended up. You need other players outside of Anthony Edwards to hit shots. You need other players to be consistent. You need other players to show up. Having a perimeter guy who could put the ball on the floor, create his own shot, create for others, absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. And I think because Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, I kind of see that as a lateral move. I don't think either of these players are too much better than the other one. If anything, I am leaning towards Julius Randle just a little bit. I do believe that this is more of a lateral trade without Donte DiVincenzo in it. Now, for Julius Randle, I think Julius Randle as a number 2 option on this team could be really, really good. He was just averaging 24 and 10 last year. Even though he did get hurt, his numbers look really good. In his entire stint in New York, he was good. Julius Randle was absolutely a top power forward in the league his entire stint in New York, besides that 1 year where he kind of fell off a little bit, and there was a lot of drama with that season. But either way, Julius Randle is a great addition. The things that he does better than Karl Anthony Towns that will help this team, he can dribble a lot better. His handle is a lot tighter, and I trust Julius Randle to put the ball on the floor and do something positive with it more than I do so Karl Anthony Towns. I think Julius Randle is also better at attacking the rim. I think Julius Randle's rim pressure is far exceeding Karl Anthony Towns. We saw that last year when it was time for Karl Anthony Towns to put his back to the basket and drive inside because his shot just wasn't hitting. When he has a straight line drive, Karl Anthony Towns can be really effective, but when it's time to change directions and start, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is the most dynamic scorer I've ever seen, to be completely frank. A lot of people have said Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best scoring big men of all time. I think shooting wise, his jumper is up there. He can hit threes. I think he absolutely, he has moves with him. I'm not saying he's bagless or anything like that. I just don't think Cat is the most dynamic player, and he's also a center. Doing that as a center, you're supposed to have the spacing to be able to do certain things, and him in the front court with Rudy Gobert kind of clogged things up. So I'm glad that he's going to be able to go to New York, and that team's spacing is going to be absolutely immaculate. Jalen Brunson at the 1. I'm going to assume McCall at the 2, Josh Hart at the 3, OG at the 4, and then Cat at the 5. This is a team that now perfectly matches up with the Celtics. And I think that's very, very important. And that is the reason why I'm going to say that the New York Knicks are the winner of this trade, even though I think they gave up more value than they received back. I think Karl Anthony Towns is the exact piece that they needed. They did not have a center. And I don't think there's a lot of centers in the NBA that can really fill the role that they're putting Cat in. His role is to literally be what Kristaps Porzingis is for the Celtics. They're building this team to go up against the Celtics, more or less. And I absolutely love that. I think this team is going to match up very, very well with them. I hope we get to see the playoff series this year. I need it. I need Knicks Celtics. This is the trade that I feel like puts this Knicks team over the top. They have Karl-Anthony Towns, who's an all-star. They have OG Anunoby, one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. They have Mikal Bridges, one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. And with his stint in Brooklyn and his last couple of games in Phoenix, you see that Mikal Bridges can put the ball on the floor now. He can get you a bucket. He can create his own shot. So Mikal Bridges is very dynamic as well. Josh Hart, another guy, great defense. His hustle is immaculate. Rebounding at his size, immaculate. And then he can also shoot. I think he's a bit more inconsistent, but I love Josh Hart as a player. And then obviously we got the two all-stars. We got Cat and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, is a superstar. You got Cat, who's an all-star level player. You got all these other supporting level pieces. And Mikal Bridges, I think he's in that like weird spot between being a all-star and just a good player. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good player. He's not. I don't think he's all-star caliber like yet, but he's close. He's really close. So I just think this Knicks team is built really good. I think they're also built eerily similar to the Celtics. Like I said, the amount of talent at the positions does change. Obviously, JT and JB are the best players in the Celtics, and the best players on this team would be Jalen Brunson and Cat. But either way, you see the vision. You see the vision, and I think this is going to be a real battle for the Eastern Conference. I think the two teams to watch are going to be the Knicks, and they're just going to be the Celtics. Now out west, for the Timberwolves, I don't think they're in that top two. I don't. I think that other teams below them can also give them some issues. I think they addressed issues, but I also think there's certain things that's just not. I also think there's certain areas where they did not improve. Like defensively, I don't think this trade improved them at all. I think this will probably make them a worse defensive team, if anything, which is problematic because that's what they held their hat on last season, was being this super sound defensive team. And they were a super sound defensive team that got broken down in the playoffs. So I can only imagine if you have to play the Mavericks again, if you have to play the Thunder this season, it's going to be really tough to stop those guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Julius Randle is not putting no fear in my heart on the defensive side of the ball. Neither is Dante DiVincenzo, if I'm being completely honest. So that aspect of their game, it's just they didn't really improve there at all, in my opinion. I think still having Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Rudy Gobert is still great offensively, but we know that Rudy Gobert is limited offensively, and he is limited offensively, but he's also limited defensively to where he's most effective at, and the best players are going to take advantage of that. So having Julius Randle be your forward, I don't think they're going to be as good defensively this season, but I do think their offense is going to be better, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch as the season goes along. I don't think that they're a top two team. I think the top two teams to watch in the West right now are the Thunder and the Mavericks. And I think they're fighting with the Nuggets for that third, fourth spot in that area. But this makes it, they're still a good team. They're still a great team. I think that in the regular season they're gonna go ham. I think that if everybody stays healthy, they're gonna go ham in the regular season. The playoffs is really where I want to see this team, and that's really going to be the test for me to see if they're legit or not. But let me know what you think of this Karl-Anthony Towns trade. I'm kind of a fan of it. I like the shakeup. I like seeing these guys in new scenarios and see what they can possibly do. But yeah, give me your opinions in the comment section down below. I have to go re-record the part of another video that one of these teams had to do with that I was supposed to be posting, but this trade happened, so I had to record this and post this instead. Y'all get that other video in like 2 days, maybe. Catch you on the next one.